This may sound a little interesting, but as you can heal these limiting beliefs within you, you can unlock that within you. So there's a lot of times that people are holding themselves back as a mother, as an entrepreneur, putting themselves out there because of things that happened when we were younger. We have to learn to rewire ourselves and like choose a different belief so that we can show up as the fullest expression of who we are. And that's what I'm really passionate about now, is helping people do that, because it's not worth it for us to hold on to these old things that we were told or we believed when we were younger.
So you want to make an impact. You're thinking about starting a business, sharing your voice. How do women do it that handle motherhood, family, and still chase after those dreams? Well, listen each week as we dive into the stories of women who know. This is Call Me CEO. The dreaded sales call. Today we are talking all about how you can create connection with your potential clients with a clear step-by-step process of what to say and how to say it so that it doesn't come off salesy, but you feel like you're really giving your true authentic care and connection and service for the services that you provide. Today we're talking to Krystal Jackson on Call Me CEO. Let's dive in because I'm going to show you all what you can do to create that connection that you desire. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Call Me CEO. This is Camille Walker, your host, and today I'm with Krystal Jackson, who is a spiritual performance coach and has done many amazing athletic things. I've just been fawning over her rippling arm muscles as we've been doing our little pre-interview, and a mother of three. So, Krystal, I'm so excited to dive in today's episode. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Camille. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah. So tell everyone about where you're coming from and where you live, and a little bit about your backstory and how you ended up being a spiritual performance coach.
Absolutely. So born and raised in Southern California. I grew up being an athlete, and at 10 years old, I knew I was going to play college athletics. I actually told my parents I was going to get a full ride scholarship, and no one in my family had ever said that or done that yet. So my parents were taken back a little bit. But, they fostered this little girl that just loved to play sports. I played all different sports, fell in love with volleyball, ended up getting a full ride scholarship to UCLA, was an All-American setter my 5th year at UCLA, went on and played professionally on the beach, representing the United States, had a blast doing that a couple times. And then it came to a point of, all right, I'm married. Oh yeah, I got married in there somewhere. I got married to, sorry, babe. I got married to my husband. We've been married for 16 years now, but somewhere in there, it was kind of that moment of, well, do I keep pursuing something, or do I go this way and go, start making money and build a business? And so it got to that point where it was like, okay, I'm just going to be done with sports and put all of our effort into a gym that we had started. So we built up this amazing gym to just under $500,000 a year. And then eventually moved our family out here to Whitefish, Montana, which was a total risk. We moved when our business was thriving. It was the best it was doing, but we chose to come here because we wanted to raise our children in a different atmosphere of just slowing things down. I don't know if you know what I mean, but It felt like it was just getting more and more busy in Southern California, and we just wanted to slow it down. So we moved here. And then a couple of years ago, we sold off our business, and I went in and I did sales for a company for 2 years for a $20 million coaching company. And I was their top sales rep. I decided, you know what? I'm going to be the best here. I'm going to be the person that has created or creates results that no one else has ever done. And I did that. But then, Camille, I was not fulfilled. There was something in my heart that was just like, why am I enrolling other people into their vision and dreams, but I'm not living my truth? So that's when I left that career and I just started my own business. And then now my husband and I run our business together. So that's kind of the quick overview, but there's so much in there that I will quickly share that I actually was a woman that didn't believe I could make money. I didn't believe that people trusted me or listened to me. So I've worked on this woman that's here with you today. For the past 5 years, it's been years of self-discovery of who am I? Why am I here? Who gets to have this voice? I didn't believe that I could speak like this in front of people, for sure. I used to hide and run from the camera. So that's just a little intro for you.
Oh, I love it. I think that there's a few things that stand out to me from the get-go is where do you think that drive came for you as a young child that
Mm.
enabled you to have that confidence from a very early age where you've never seen anyone else go into pro athletes and were you able to discover that?
That's a great question. I think there's two ways I can go with this. I think I was just born to become an athlete, if that makes sense. Like that was part of my purpose. That's part of my journey of my life that I wanted to discover. Also, in there, I know that's where I chose to receive love. So I thrived in sports, right? So when you thrive in something, you get recognition, you get love. That doesn't mean that wasn't or sorry, that doesn't mean my parents didn't love me. They loved me dearly. Oh my gosh, I know that. But as a young little girl, that's where I chose to receive my love. Does that make sense when I say that?
Hmm.
And we
Yeah.
all have it. So my worthiness actually got really tied up in my results. But I just knew as a young girl, for whatever reason, I've just always been that person that like sees something and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go do that. And I will keep going. I'm kind of stubborn in that way. I'll keep going. Even if I fail over and over and over again, I'm always getting myself back up. I've learned my lesson and I keep moving forward. So it's just something I think I was born with, to be
Mhm.
honest.
Do you feel like sports helped you learn that skill and hone it more directly because you were involved in sports? Or do you feel like that was a skill you already had and it propelled you forward just in
I,
general?
well, I think there's both. Like,
Mhm.
absolutely, my coaches help shape who I am today. For sure. I remember in fifth grade playing basketball for Coach Giordano. And man, if you were not on it, you were running sprints, right? So I learned how to work hard at a very young age. I mean, fifth grade, that's, I think 11 years old, 11, 12 years old, right? Like you're learning the art of work and
Mhm.
putting in work and seeing a reward. So all of it carried on. And then I had a lot of coaches in my career that all of them brought me something. Like I took a gift does that make sense? Like I received a gift from them to become someone who's just very determined and driven. And it's got to be though on like for me, not for me, sorry. I have to decide it. I have to be like, okay, that's what I'm going to go after. If someone tells me, you know what, you should do da 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 da, maybe
Mm.
sounds fun, but it's got to be within me. And that's where I see myself like flip a switch and go into a different gear to go after things. But I think we all have it innately. And this might sound a little interesting, but as you can heal these limiting beliefs within you can unlock that within you.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of times that people are holding themselves back as a mother, as an entrepreneur, putting themselves out there because of things that happened when we were younger. We have to learn to rewire ourselves and like choose a different belief so that we can show up as the fullest expression of who we are. And that's what I'm really passionate about now is helping people do that because it's not worth it for us to hold on to these old things that we were told or we believed when we were younger.
Mm. I love that. I just watched King Richard on our flight home of this last week, and I loved in that movie that have you seen it?
No, but I
Oh,
do get to see it. I know.
you
I
need to
have
see
to see
this.
it. Yeah.
Okay, so in the movie, there are a couple times where the coaches and the agents poignantly say, it doesn't matter what we want for your daughters in reference to Venus and Serena. It doesn't matter what we want. It doesn't matter the potential we see. They themselves have to believe it and want it. And I think
Yes.
that that applies to all of us, that there's potential and growth and capability within each of us, but we ourselves have to want it. And that I think that that is so important for us to remember, not only for ourselves, but for our children too, is to give them that opportunity to see that fire and create that want. Now, you're a mother of three.
Mhm.
What are the ages of your kids?
10, 8, and 3.
And are they all looking like they're going into sports, or do you see some of that like drive in them, or
Oh
what are
my
you
gosh.
seeing right now as a parent?
Yeah, I'm laughing because my children, both my boys last year said, Mom, I want to be a pro baseball player at 7 and 9. So My kids, my kids have grown up in a gym. So my boys, actually not my little girl, but my two oldest grew up in a gym. So from a very young age, they've been picking up weights, not like real weightlifting, but just picking up weights. They've been jumping on boxes, going on swings, like a rope swing. They've been in that role for a long time, and they've watched. My husband was a pro volleyball player as well. So they've watched us play and compete. And so they found their love, which is baseball, which I'm so impressed that they found the sport that they absolutely love, at least for right now.
Yeah.
Right. I will support them through anything. If they fall in love with something else, well, guess what? That's what it is. But my boys absolutely love baseball. They live for it. They practice it every single day. My little girl loves everything. She wants to do whatever her big brothers are doing, but she gets out there with the lacrosse stick, the basketball, the baseball, soccer ball, and just kind of does it all. So they definitely have a drive within them. And, it's interesting because I want to do the balance of, okay, your dad and I know how to get you there. If you want it, let us know. So there's that balance of like pushing them, but not pushing too much. So we're always kind of going back and forth on that line and figuring out what is best. But, the big thing for my kids is I just want them happy. I just want them happy and they love what they do. That's the most important thing for me.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like they have the DNA and the parentage in their corner. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about moving into your coaching. You said that you were coaching for other people, right, or helping them to sell their program. What program was it that you were selling for?
So I worked for a company called Heartcore Business, and they were teaching. Shanda Sumter's the owner of that company, and her husband, Ash Gandhari. And they had kind of actually multiple things, but the main thing was they taught people how to build an email list and to grow a following so that it's organic, and an email list, because no one can restrict your email list. You actually own your email list. So I learned from them how to build my own email list and to market to people to make a difference for them. So I want everybody to hear, like, sales is actually a way of showing love, and it's showing like sharing your gifts with people. So that was one part of the business. Now the other part of the business, it was personal development. So they had a leadership training group that I've actually coached and supported. I didn't take my leadership training through them. I did it through a different company called ALA in San Diego. But I came back and helped coach a lot there, and absolutely fell in love with leadership and personal development. Like when I did that, like everything just clicked of, okay, yeah, I get it. This is how we live our life in responsibility versus being in victim. So I'm super grateful to have worked for them. I learned so much. I found my voice there. I learned how to coach people. I learned how, like, sales and enrollment. I learned how to lead big groups in person and on Zoom. Like, there was so much growth in that company. And I knew it when I said yes to doing it. I knew there was a reason I needed to be there. I didn't know why, if that makes sense. Like, I trusted the unknown of, I know I need to be here. I don't know what I'm meant to learn, but I knew that the opportunity was going to present itself. So it was an incredible experience.
That sounds really cool. I think a lot of people that I know that want to go into coaching don't know exactly what path to take, because there are so many different accreditations. It's kind of the Wild West, because it's not like a monitored degree as much as, say, becoming a doctor is, for example. What would you think, in your experience of becoming a coach, and that process of learning to sell and share love? I love that you said that, because I think we get really tripped up in not wanting to be, quote, salesy, but wanting to share and give and serve in that regard. Take us through the process of your best steps of building an audience on email and how to nurture them into sales.
Yeah. So the best way that I know is what I learned from that company was to reach out to other people that have an audience already and do some sort of something like this, an interview, right? And it could be in a small group, it could be a lot of people, but reach out and create relationships with other people that have an email list that are willing to do an interview with you and promote for you. And here's why: because if you, like, we can get along here and we can talk, but we probably have very similar audience. So you want to reach out to someone that has your similar audience, or people that you want to inspire. Like my first interview series, I had no one on an email list and built it to 1,600 really quickly. And to me, the most important or the most fun part was actually doing the interviews with people, because you create connection, you learn from someone, you're now picking someone's brain. That's why I think podcasting is so fun, because it's like you have an hour to pick someone's brain versus having to read all these books or all these messages, right? But that's number one, is just like start surrounding yourself with people that have what you want right now, that inspire you. Reach out to them. I send messages on DMs all the time in Instagram. Hey, like I did with you, and something about you is just like your energy. And I was like, oh my gosh, she looks really fun. So I go by the fun factor, right? And inspired. Am I inspired by the person? And reach out to them. Almost everybody's going to be a yes. Hey, can I pick your brain? Can I interview you? Can I learn from you? But the thing to build your business is you really want to get clear on, why are you doing this? What is your why? What is your mission? What is the thing that, like, why must you go and speak and put yourself out there and coach people? What is the pain that you've overcome or are overcoming? You don't have to have it all figured out, by the way. You can just, like, literally, you don't have to have every certification, doesn't have to be perfect. It's more about, what is the problem that I have created, or not created, but I have the solution for, and how can I help others? And put yourself out there and start talking about it. Get uncomfortable, right? Start talking about it on Instagram, on social media, or wherever you like to hang out, and make a difference. Like, make the content something that makes a difference for someone, and focus on service first. That is the best way to build your business. I also love, though, connecting with other entrepreneurs, because then we can do fun things like this, talk about business. But if you do it for the money, you're doing it for the wrong reason. Everything has shifted in my business when I put service as number one versus business as number one. Building a program because you want to make money, you're not in your soul's alignment. But building a program because you know this will make a difference for someone and you're going to put it out there, that is your alignment. And you have to listen to that. We were talking about it before. I did an interview series and I felt like I had to do it. I had success on my last one, so I should listen to my words I'm saying, I should do another one. So I put another one on the calendar date. My heart wasn't all the way there. And I was doing it from a have to versus I'm inspired to. So everything now, that was my final lesson of, like, okay, Krystal, you've been doing it too many times, or you feel like you have to. So now it's a new standard for me, is I have to be inspired by it. It's not about me just doing it because I should, because there's a lot of shoulds out there and a lot of ways that you can build your business. Connect with yourself. Does this feel good? Does this feel in alignment to you? Does this, like, can you roll this off your tongue and know that you're going to deliver, and 100% people are going to be so happy because you put this out there? Then go for it. But if you're not all the way there, don't do it. It's not worth it. It's a waste of your time, to be honest.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. I've had many times in my business where I felt like the should, and then what happens when you're putting it in the should category, your energy matches that. Almost, I don't know if resentment is the right word, but it can be a drag to you, where you're like, oh, I should be doing this, which there are a lot of shoulds in business. And that's why I think being able to get virtual assistants involved in your business, where if something becomes a should and it drags you down into your ultimate growth, that's when you know, okay, I need to realign with, if you can, playing in the zone of your genius. Because if you can do that, then you can create space for growth in a beautiful, energy flowing way. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Like, and I've learned this lesson too many times, to let go of the things that are not, like, lighting you up, right? Just let them go. Make the money to hire someone. Just do the things that, like, you're good at. And you can work on the things that you're not great at. I'm not great at writing emails, but I've worked on it, and I have someone edit my emails, right? Because I know my grammar is not perfect. I'm not here to beat myself up on it, though. And I love myself up. I posted something on Instagram and it went to Facebook too, which I didn't even know it went to Facebook. And my mother-in-law was like, isn't it this? And, like, she, like, corrected my spelling. And I'm like, yep, totally.
Yeah.
So you gotta be able to make the mistake and just let it go. Like, literally, you got to just let it go and laugh at yourself. And I used to take myself way too seriously and be so embarrassed. And now I'm like, Guess what? If you are following me, I'm going to make mistakes spelling.
Mhm.
Not that I can't fix it. Trust me, I am working on it. So I will always work on my weaknesses, but I don't need to be perfect. But I'm definitely not going to beat myself up. That's for sure.
I
Because
love that.
that's an old pattern, and too many people are beating themselves up.
Mhm.
And then in the world of manifestation, you're actually blocking the good things coming to you. Like, just
Yep.
love yourself up, laugh about it. I make up my own words all the time. I used to make myself wrong for it. Now I just laugh. I'm like, yep, there's a word I just made up. Yep, just having more fun.
I think that also makes you more human. I mean, all of us, I think authenticity, especially online where there's been so many years of seeing polished, perfect pictures or videos or whatever else. And what people are really gravitating to is that authenticity and being able to laugh it off when you make those mistakes. And I love when I see people able to do that, because I think it gives other people permission to do the same. And we can just give each other grace, because at the end of the day, there's way too many things to be worried about that really matter, than
Oh,
something
yeah.
like a misspelled word or, tripping up on your words or making a fool of yourself online, whatever it is.
Oh, all the time. I mean, and it hasn't happened today, but typically a kid comes in, they're in they want to come and say hi. They know mom's in here. That makes it more real life. Like, show your real life. This is me when I make up, or I wake up with no makeup, right? Or this is me with makeup on. Like, just make it more you. Like, that's the big thing. People want to learn from you. It's your magic. It's your medicine inside of you. They don't want the perfect person. I have had major tech breakdowns in the middle of trainings and still made sales on the back end, like on the call. You know what I mean? Like, literally one time my computer, I had to switch from my computer to my husband's computer, and I just let it go. And I can remember one of the people that she's now my client, she loved it, how I could just laugh it off. Like, and authentically, I was like, oh, well, hey, here we go. Just stay with me. I'll be right back. I'm going to go get the other computer and we're going to keep going, because there's something about showing people too. You just keep going, Camille.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
stop. Like, you're going to have many challenges as an entrepreneur. Guess what? Get ready for them. Who are you in the face of, a hard moment? Do you give up? And by the way, all of this, you're teaching your children too.
Hmm.
My children, I bring them in on everything. They always know my goals. They know what I'm going after. They help me with like my social media and picking out music for me. They have reels ideas. Like, I bring them into my business versus I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a mom. I have it all together because I want them to learn. They're watching me more than they're listening to me. That's for sure.
I can
Yeah.
attest to that. I'm curious because a lot of people are, not a lot, but I know quite a few who are looking to find success in the coaching space online. What has been the most beneficial practice that you've done in building and actually attaining clients?
I would say the thing that's been the biggest impact is doing the interview series and then being authentic in my emails. I share everything in my emails, and I make consistent offers to my emails or my email list. So the reason why I show up consistently making offers on my email list is, who knows what someone wants. I can't read their mind. Can I do a survey? Absolutely. That's something you can do, is survey your list and then ask them what they want, what price range, all that stuff. But number one, the thing that's creating success is I create things that light me up. And then I talk about it on my email, and I'm lit up in my email. Like, you can feel my energy through my email. Then on top of that, I'm not attached to what it looks like with how many people. I will do it no matter what. I've had one person in a program. I've had 5 people in a program. It doesn't matter. I have lots of private clients. Like, I have a heavy private private client list right now, but that's not going to always be that way. As private clients easily come to me, I'm also building up group coaching programs because that lights me up too. Now I can create more consistent reoccurring income and be like, what's the word? Efficient with my time, right? So private client, they're going to pay a private client price. Group coaching program, I can create space for more more people to coach and have less time. So you got to go with what lights you up. Like, honestly, that is the best advice. If I could have done that when I was younger, I just wish I would have done what lit me up. But I really didn't start my business. May 4th will be when I left my sales career. It's almost been a year, and I don't know when this will go live, but I've only been just under a year of being full force my business. All the other years before, I was just dabbling. It was playing. It was like one toe in, one toe out. Let me see if I should do this. Can I do it? I owned a gym business, so that was always pulling me away. Then I did sales. And then I got serious with myself and I was like, I have way too many gifts to share with people. Like, I'm hoarding my gifts. I'm not sharing that people could be learning from me. And I mean that from like the most humble place, because I used to never think people would ever want to listen to me. So it's really about what lights you up. You will attract the right people in. I promise you. I left on May 4th with no business. I didn't have, okay, great, I have $10,000 or $20,000 reoccurring set up. No, I took a risk. I jumped because my heart was telling me to go. And I had prayed for that for a little bit. I'd said I knew I was ready to leave, but the timing didn't feel right. And so I just prayed about it. I was like, for me, God, universe, spirit, whoever you guys believe in is beautiful. But I would pray, God, just show me the perfect time for me to be done at this company, so I can move on and do my life's work. Right. And so being clear on like what that is really important. And trust yourself. Yeah.
I love that. So to wrap up that alignment of what you were saying is you're creating online summit interviews with people who align with your business and your messaging. And then you're creating very intimate emails where you have offerings that go out to your audience. And then you're creating offerings for both one-on-one coaching and group coaching.
Yep. I do paid masterclasses. I do one-on-one coaching. I have like a deluxe package for one-on-one, which includes a 3-day retreat with me here in Montana. I have group coaching programs. I have Voxer only coaching. So if they don't want to do private one-on-one where we meet on the phone and you have Voxer support, I will do only Voxer. That's one of my favorite things, because now I have more time freedom to coach. Voxer is just a little app on your phone. If you guys don't know what it is, it's like a walkie-talkie. I can respond to it anytime that works for me. So I can be traveling with my sons, cheering him on in baseball. Okay, cool. We're in between innings. Let me respond to a client real quick if I want to. That's my most favorite form of coaching right now. But the big thing is to remember, put the service first. What is going to make the biggest difference for someone? Only make an offer if you feel it's true. Like, I put out offers out there a lot because, again, I don't know who's opening all my emails and what they need. But you know what? I can present this, and guess what? Maybe this takes off and all these people want to buy it. Awesome. And then let's say I put out this other one and no one buys it. Doesn't mean that I'm wrong. It just means, guess what? That didn't land. They don't want that. Then keep putting yourself out there. And I learned that I have a great mentor named Cassie Howard, and she teaches you how to just sell. And it's really from service. It is number one, service. So also I want to say, if you get triggered by people making you offers, that's something within you get to handle before you can really unleash yourself to sell. I used to get triggered. And so I knew, I was like, okay, well, what's this about? What's coming up within me? I had to handle that conversation within me so that I could stand for other people, because guess what? You're going to get faced with that conversation. Sales and enrollment is one of the most beautiful skills to have, because you're standing for someone through their bullshit. They're going to have their limiting beliefs come up. And if you believe those stories, you will buy into their stuff. If you do your own work and you don't have those stories, you can walk through the fire with them. You can pull them along and go, okay, I hear you. I get it. Let's get to the other side though, because their dreams are on the other side of that resistance. It's so important that you realize that as an entrepreneur. Do not give in to their limitations. So anytime when I'm coaching or making an offer, if I'm leading a masterclass and making an offer, I will talk about the resistance to break down the wall. Like, if you don't have the money, right? Time and money are the two biggest objections for people. So I kind of went off on a little bit of sales
No,
tangent.
go for it. I love it. Talk about time and money. Let's hear it.
Oh man. So time and money are the two biggest objections that
Mhm.
you will face as an entrepreneur. Everybody's going to say, I don't have the time or I don't have the money. And let me just start by this. Number one, they have the time. They're just not making it a priority. They're not making them a priority. And this is where I can go into personalities of, are they a controller personality or supporter personality? If they're a supporter, they don't believe that they're worthy of the time. Okay. So, I mean, there's so many intricacies of sales and learning the art of it. And you can apply all of this to your emails, by the way. You can talk to different personality types on the emails. So, a supporter is not going to think that they're worthy of investing in themselves. So when they say, I don't have the time, all they're saying, whether it's time or money, well, I'm going to use time first. If they're saying, I don't have the time, they don't believe the deeper thing. They don't believe that they'll actually create the success. That's really what they're saying to you. So you have to actually break down the wall. Camille, I totally hear you. You don't have the time. I get it. I'm a mother of 3 as well. And I've taken on a lot in my life and never really had the time. But I made my business a priority. So is this a priority conversation or is this really a time conversation? So do you see, I'm breaking it down to make it simple for them, for them to discover, oh yeah, you know what? I just haven't made it a priority. Because guess what? We could give up Netflix and you would have a lot more hours in your day or your week, right? Now, money is different. Now, there's 2 different types of not having money. And I've had multiple people say to me, Krystal, I don't have the money. And then they sign up and they pay me in full. Okay. So I just want to present that. Someone could tell you over and over and over, I don't have the money. I don't have the money. Typically, if they're saying I don't have the money, there's a deeper belief underneath there, which is they actually just don't see the value of what you're proposing to them. You haven't created enough value. So it doesn't mean that you have to go desperation. You just need to get clear. Okay, is it that you do not have the money or do you not see the value of what I'm offering you? So I have to understand what's going on. But my favorite little trick in all sales is I actually say to the person, Camille, let's just have a little fun and let's put the time and money to the side. So you cannot tell me that you don't have the time or you don't have the money or you need to go ask your husband or wife. Let's put all of that to the side. Tell me, what is the bigger reason why you're not saying yes to your vision and dreams? What's really coming up for you? So Camille, I need to know what that conversation is. That conversation tells me their limiting belief so I can then walk through the fears with them. Does that make sense?
Let's say that someone says, I don't think I can be successful in this venture. So how would you respond to that?
Yeah, that's a great one. So typically I would say, I absolutely get it. Everyone I talk to says the same thing because that's true. Almost everybody I talk to has a limiting belief. Well, maybe it's okay. Like maybe Susie can do it, but not me. So tell me, Camille, so I'm going to put it back on them. Why do you believe that you can't be successful? So I need to get deeper into knowing what's going on in their mindset, because typically it's just a pattern of them not believing in themselves. So basically, then they come back and they tell me why. And then I'm like, okay, well, are you really okay living your life, not believing in yourself? And they say no, something like that, right? I'm kind of just going with the flow. So basically where I get them to at the end is in their power. And I say, hey, here's an opportunity for you to choose to be someone different. This is an opportunity for you to actually go for your dreams. And I know you're scared. So from a place of power, you can say yes to your vision and dreams, or you can say no. What do you want? So I want to get them to a place of power to make a yes or no decision. And I always make them make a decision, because if they're going back and forth and they're like, well, maybe, I don't know, I haven't done my job yet. If they're wavering, then I haven't gotten them clarity. So I get them to a clear, yes, I'm in, or no, I'm not in, or they might just need some more time. And I always give them space. So there's so much intricacies of sales. The one last little tip I'll leave is give the person the power to make the decision. Do not force it. I don't ever force sales. When I stopped pushing sales, I made way more sales.
Hmm.
Because I got them through their limiting beliefs. And then I got them to a point for them to make a powerful yes or no decision. It's not what I want for them. It's about them being in their power and saying yes to themselves. That's all they're doing. And it's scary for people. It is scary. It's like, oh my gosh, if I say yes, then I actually am going to be seen or heard. Well, what's that going to look like? Can I handle it? That's all them. They get to decide that if they're ready for it. And some people won't be ready, and that's okay. And we love them up no matter what. And some people will be ready. So there's no sales is really, I just think so fun because it's literally a transformation conversation when you're having sales conversation.
I love that. I think that that's really an interesting perspective of not forcing them in that moment, because if you've gotten them to that place of understanding what they're saying yes or what they're actually saying no to, that's where they can really make the best decision for them and you've done your job. So I'm curious, when someone says, I need time to think about something, what is your timeline for the follow up?
24 to 48 hours. So no longer than that. So I phrase it as this: what do you need to make a powerful yes or no decision? No, 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 I got it. I know what I want to do. They say yes or no. Great. And it's interesting. This is fascinating because I'm literally giving them the option to tell me, what do you need to make a powerful choice? And they're like, I just don't know. And I know what it is. They want time, but they're not bold enough to ask for the time.
Hmm.
So I wait for them because I want them to be in their power. Again, this is about them making the choice. So if they do ask for it, I will say, okay, great. We can schedule it tomorrow or the following day. I typically love the next day. That's plenty of time, by the way. They don't need 2 days. But also, if they don't have the schedule to meet the next day, we'll meet on the next day, the following day. Now, sometimes I'm saying to them, would you just like to sleep on it tonight? Oh my gosh, yes, I would love to sleep on it. Okay, great. Awesome. Here's my ask of you. When we meet tomorrow at this time, this is really key for everybody to learn. When we meet at this time tomorrow, please meet me on Zoom. Please do not send me an email that you've made your decision. We're going to meet on Zoom or on the phone, whatever it is, for you to make a powerful yes or no decision. It's up to you. I'm not here to pressure you. This is about you, but you get to show up so that we can have that final conversation together. Because what you don't want is that the person just emails you. Because guess what? That person that's saying it's right now, it's just not the time, they still want it. When they're doing that, if they're not a clear no, they still want it, but they won't allow themselves. Does that make sense?
So how
So
do you get past that? Like, say that someone's like, it's just not the right time.
yeah, so I would just ask them, okay, got it. Tell me what came up for you. Well, Krystal, I just don't know. Right now, it doesn't seem like the time and this and that. Okay, great. Let's make it work for you. What does feel good? I had one woman in December, we did that. She's like, I just can't start till January. I'm like, okay, great. Let's start in January. Again, in private coaching, especially, it's their timeline. It's not about what I think they need. It's about them being ready so that they do the work. You don't want to push someone into a sale, and then that's when you have the person that wants the refund or they're angry or upset. I don't have objections because I love up the person so much in the conversation and give them the power of what do they need, when do they need it. Again, I take off as much pressure as possible, which is so backwards from the masculine, heavy sales dominant world. I think it's about giving them the power. So if they need to have another month, great, we'll start in a month. Or maybe there's another problem and I'm like, okay, let's just figure out the perfect solution. What does that look like for you? One private client, my typical private clients is 10 months. And she just couldn't get around 10 months. I'm like, okay, great. Does this feel better? So we just did a shorter contract. Yeah, I can totally do that. Awesome. Everything is figure outable. The last thing I'll say is there are people that you are meant to specifically work with. And I trust that. I trust that the perfect people I'm meant to work with for both parties, for them and for me, come to me. There's so many people out there. The coaching business is a multi-billion dollar company this year or in the next few years, sorry. So there's more than enough people for all of us to be successful. How fast you believe it's going to happen is how fast it'll happen. and make it fun and easy on yourself. Like, take the pressure off and bring joy to your life. Like, it doesn't have to be very heavy. And that's what I feel a lot of times happens for people.
Oh, well, that has been, I feel like we've all just had a feast of positivity and like how to make sales that aren't salesy and really connect with our true intention, which is to help other people. And I know that many of you listening are feeling that way or have learned how to transform that and listening to your own product or service and putting that and implementing that into your business. So thank you so much for all of that advice today. I feel like that was so amazing. Please tell our audience where they can find you.
Yeah, so I love to hang out on Instagram at Krystal Sue Jackson, Krystal with a K. And you can just follow me there. Send me a DM. Let me know what landed for you. What was the thing that made the biggest difference? I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, that's where I'm typically at.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Camille.
This episode is brought to you by Station Park, who believes in women-led businesses that are changing the world. If you want a place to come visit to dine, shop, or connect with your loved ones, Station Park is only 20 minutes away from downtown Salt Lake City and has a gorgeous outdoor dining and shopping experience that you can walk among the shops and create memories that will last forever. If you happen to be in the middle of the square, Twig's restaurant is right there in the middle, one of my very favorites. You've got to get the pesto margarita chicken and end the night with the dipping donuts. Trust me, tell them I sent you. It will change your life. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please subscribe and stay tuned for a new episode every Tuesday where I will interview a new mom each week who is building a business and building her family and finding a balance that works for her. And I hope that by doing that, you can find a balance that works for you. See you next time.